It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? This is the Fox 5 10 o'clock news.
Good evening, I'm John Roland.
I'm Rosanna Scotto.
Well, right now, a last-ditch effort is underway to avoid a strike by Catholic school teachers. We have that story along with another story from Ground Zero tonight. The strike would affect thousands of students. Bob DeCastro has the latest from Westchester.
The fate of thousands of students in 10 Catholic high schools are in the hands of mediators. The teachers saying if their demands are not met, they'll walk out. Cathedral High School closed for the night, but its empty hallways, something the teachers union says could happen on a school day this week should they not reach an agreement with the Archdiocese. The teachers demanding a 15% pay raise, a new pension plan, but church leaders say that would raise tuition for working families. Jim Hughes, a teacher for 22 years, believes he's being pushed out.
They try to keep the salaries down, and if it means that encourages them to have new and experienced teachers, well, that's one way that they might do it, but they just want to keep the costs down.
But the devil is in the details. Several hours later, still no deal.
We've given them today alone over three different proposals. Today alone, 3 different proposals we gave them today.
The teachers aren't saying when they might strike. They don't want to give the Archdiocese time to line up substitutes. A decision is expected later tonight. We'll bring it to you as soon as it becomes available. In Hawthorne, Bob DeCastro, Fox 5 News.
Well, if the teachers do strike, here are the schools that would be affected. Cathedral High School in Manhattan, Cardinal Spellman and Cardinal Hayes in the Bronx, Moore Catholic in Monsignor Farrell on Staten Island, and Stepanak High School in White Plains. Rosanna?
John, a lot of people in Connecticut are plenty worried about anthrax tonight after a discovery made at the University of Connecticut. Dick Brennan is here with late details. Dick.
Well, Rosanna, concern about possibly anthrax-tainted vials triggered an evacuation today at the University of Connecticut. But that's just one development on the anthrax front. Now, you remember Attilly Lundgren of Connecticut. She died because of inhalation anthrax. Well, reports circulated today of another possible anthrax death, but it turned out the victim, an 84-year-old man who lived in the same area, actually died of natural causes. Meantime, officials still aren't sure about any anthrax connection with those vials at the University of Connecticut.
And this was not a professor calling up saying, oh, by the way, I have some anthrax here, would you come pick it up? This was done through a tip to law enforcement. We've then taken the appropriate actions to secure the building.
Now, the CDC and the FBI are testing the material to see if it contains anthrax. Now, in the meantime, the governor has ordered to check all hospitals for recent respiratory deaths. The reason is that they could be related to anthrax. Now, that's the latest from the newsroom. We'll get back to you with any late developments. I'm Dick Brennan, Fox 5 News. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Dick. We know that there are a lot of people still being held in connection with the terrorist attacks, at least 600 at this point. What we don't know for the most part is who, and Attorney General Ashcroft plans to keep it that way. He says if he released the names of those in custody, it would only help Osama bin Laden plan more terrorist attacks on America.
I am not interested in providing, when we are at war, a list to Osama bin Laden, the al-Qaeda network, of the people that we have detained that would make in any way easier their effort to kill American citizens.
More than 1,000 people have been detained. Some of them may be members of bin Laden's terrorist organization. Most of the rest are charged with violating our immigration laws.
Tonight, the Pentagon has ordered airstrikes on a compound believed to house senior al-Qaeda and Taliban leaders near Kandahar. 1,000 Marines are now setting up a new ground base there, the last stronghold of the Taliban. They're armed to the teeth with Cobra helicopters, artillery, and Humvees. From there, they'll begin the most dangerous part of their mission, hunting for Osama.
And anti-Taliban forces are claiming that a bloody prison revolt near Mazar-e-Sharif is over, but the Pentagon isn't so sure. There was a lot of intense gunfire and fighting there today. The U.S. says 30 to 40 Taliban soldiers are holding out. Dozens of dead bodies from both sides litter the ground around the prison. 5 U.S. soldiers were wounded seriously in the battle. They arrived in Frankfurt, Germany today. They were wounded by friendly fire. A bomb from one of our planes barely missed the intended target.
Military officials say they found some of Osama's dirty work, similar to what you're seeing here. More than 40 sites in Afghanistan where research on chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons may have taken place. They say Osama and his terrorist group were probably trying to develop weapons of mass destruction. U.S. forces are testing to make sure, and that may take some time.
And besides getting Osama, one of the biggest obstacles is how to share power after the Taliban. 4 Afghan factions began talks in Germany. One thing they may agree on is making their former king head of state. The delegates want to establish an interim administration that would lead to a council of tribal leaders.
The Mideast violence won't let up. The latest bloodshed was in the Israeli town of Afallah. 2 gunmen opened fire at a bus station and market there. 2 Israelis were killed, 14 were wounded. The gunmen were later shot to death. 2 Palestinian groups claimed responsibility. All this happened while 2 mediators from the United States are in Israel trying to get peace talks moving again. They got a first-hand look at the violence during a helicopter tour. One of the mediators, retired Marine Corps General Anthony Zinni, says this is why it's important to get both sides talking again.
Mayor-elect Bloomberg got a warm welcome in Puerto Rico, told the people there he supports the plan to stop the Navy training exercises in Vieques. Yesterday, Mr. Bloomberg was in the Dominican Republic. He met there with families who lost loved ones in the crash of Flight 587. And you know, it does sound unlikely in these times of high security, but the Secretary of Transportation wants airline passengers to get through security checkpoints in 10 minutes or less. No weapons, no waiting. And he added that he'll try, but he doesn't think the Transportation Department will hit a congressional deadline, January 1st. That's when every piece of baggage that's checked on an airline is supposed to be x-rayed.
The lawyers have started to line up. 2 families have filed wrongful death lawsuits against Bin Laden. Both lawsuits involve victims killed in the attacks on the World Trade Center. The lawyers want to get at money frozen by the U.S. belonging to the world's most wanted man and his terrorist network. The lawsuits were filed in federal court in Manhattan. A 1996 law allows people to sue countries that sponsor terrorism.
And as you know, the Red Cross has been ripped apart for not doing enough to help the victims of the attack, but they have been busy handing out vouchers for victims to help them get by. Now there are questions, though, about how people are using those vouchers. Here's James Ford.
One of the main operations of Red Cross right now, disaster relief. But we've had phone calls at Fox 5 about people abusing the Red Cross's generosity. The September 11th attack left 25,000 people needy, out of their homes, their jobs, or both. Your Red Cross donations helped get these vouchers, called dispersing orders, to the victims so they could buy items to get back on their feet.
I could see how people could abuse it.
Tracy Coward used Red Cross vouchers to pay for goods after the attack forced her out of her Tribeca apartment. She responds to calls we had about people taking advantage of the system.
I can go buy $100 worth of diet soda instead of buying eggs and milk and butter and food and diapers for the kids.
One caller told us that someone took a voucher made out for hundreds of dollars for clothes and bought designer labels.
Does every individual make the right choice? Probably not, but the important thing is that they're participating in their recovery.
Another call was that displaced people stayed at first-rate hotels like the Mercer and Soho Grand. The Red Cross's response, the hotels donated those rooms at just 40% of cost. But how do they make sure people spend donated money reasonably?
The family makes the choice on how they're going to use the assistance the Red Cross is going to provide them.
The Red Cross admits it's no stranger to luxury, like this vehicle is a BMW. But take a look, it's donated by the corporation, like many of their items. And they say if you know anyone who's abusing the system, you can report them. In Brooklyn, James Ford, Fox 5 News.
Workers at Ground Zero are getting help in their search for human remains from a giant crane. Here's what's happening at the site right now. The crane has been on the site near the South Tower, but it's going to be moved next week to the North Tower. It will be used to remove more debris and help uncover any remains in the rubble.
And millions of New Yorkers are going to remember September 11th this December 25th. Firefighters and American flags will hang on the tree if you're lucky. There's a waiting list for these ornaments. We'll tell you why coming up in a few minutes. Rosanna?
John, police are now asking for your help in finding a man who's missing. He hasn't been seen in almost a week. In a minute, we're going to give you a number for you to call. Right now, Mike Sheehan has more from Rockland County.
Michael McDermott's parents are worried sick. The last time they saw their son was last Wednesday morning when he left for work driving this car.
Hey, Mike, if you're seeing this, please, just want you to let you know that everybody loves you. Everybody's waiting for you to come home. You can call any of your friends. You can call us at home here. You can call anybody you want. The police department, you can call Mike here.
19-year-old McDermott was last seen the day before Thanksgiving when he left his job at a publishing warehouse on a lunch break, but never returned. Detectives say McDermott's 1995 Toyota Celica was found Thanksgiving morning out of gas, parked along the Palisades Parkway just north of the George Washington Bridge.
We have no indications of foul play. We have no indications of suicide. The car was clean. There was no notes or anything like that.
Cops have searched the woods and the river near where the car was found. A check of the Easy Pass puts McDermott in the Bronx Wednesday night, where a city cop recalled seeing the plate, Go Knicks.
We've had a lot of support from the police departments, our family and our friends. Everybody's been just so wonderful, and that's what you need in a time like this.
If you've seen Michael McDermott, please call the Clarkstown Police at 877-639-6233. From Pearl River, New York, Mike Sheehan, Fox 5 News.
Well, the fate of the hike in property taxes in Nassau County, Long Island, is now in the hands of County Executive Golota. He's leaving office in disgrace, but he is still the one who has to approve the budget. The legislature passed it late last night. It includes that tax hike, which works out to about $150 a year for the average homeowner. So far, Mr. Golota has said he's against it.
If we can avoid adding an additional burden of tax increases, that's the direction that we should move in. So our first priority is going to be the fiscal integrity of the county, protection of the taxpayers of Nassau County, and we're going to review this budget with a fine-tooth comb.
A state oversight board is watching all of this very closely. They meet next month. If Nassau County doesn't pass a balanced budget, they could take over.
Okay, time now for our First on Fox forecast. Here's Nick Gregory.
All right, Rosanna, and we definitely have had another day of mild temperatures, and it's still pretty mild outside tonight, although the sky has turned cloudy again. 56 now. Humidity's been climbing. The wind has been gusty out of the west. And area temperature is pretty much the same because of that cloud cover that's now sitting on top of the area. See, everybody's generally in the low and middle 50s with a cloudy sky. Maybe just some upper 40s coming in across the lower Hudson Valley. Going to keep these clouds overnight and introduce a little light rain or drizzle at some point, too. The low, not too far from where we're at now, 51 in town and 40s in the suburbs. And I want you to look at the radar picture with me because, as you can see, coming up here in just a second, that area of rain shower activity, one band sliding off to the north, but there'll be some more areas popping up in here. How will that affect your rush hour in the morning? We'll be talking about that and also talking about our better chances for rain coming up in our full forecast a little bit later in tonight's 10 o'clock news.
I'm Linda Schmidt. You've got regular cigarettes and you've got lights, but which one is actually better for you? I'm going to have that answer for you coming up, so stick around.
Also had an important car recall to tell you about. It involves Fords.
And later on, if you're suffering from post-traumatic stress after the 9/11 attacks, some experts have some good advice for dealing with it.
The Fox 5 Problem Solver is undercover, exposing the illegal selling of this deadly pesticide.
This stuff's real good rat poison.
This story coming up next. If you need help with a problem, call the Fox 5 Problem Solvers hotline. 1-877-TEL-FOX-5.
What you got right now is a mess over the west. Sky Fox is over the area. There's a lot of traffic going up to the George Washington Bridge. So if you know anybody who's going that way, let them know. Stay away. John.
All right, Lieutenant, now we want to give you some important information. We want to give you some important information that you might want to get ready to write down. The problem solvers went undercover and looked into a rat poison you can buy on the street. It's so deadly, it's illegal. John Dutzman reports.
Guys, this is a rat hangout. It's infested with rats, and some people would do anything they could to get rid of rats. But what they may not know is if they use the wrong stuff, they could kill their family too. Rats still rule this city. Are you afraid of rats?
Very much.
You should be afraid because rats can carry a bunch of diseases, and some of them can kill you. And even if the rats don't make you sick, they can make your life miserable. This woman says the rats invaded her place the other night. Her whole family hid in one bed. Then something creepy happened. A big rat ran across her neck. And as Doris Velez searches for rats, we find out the rats ate her garlic bread before her family had a chance to. So the rats ate the whole thing? Mm-hmm. What would you do if you had to live like this? With rat droppings on the kitchen counter, rat poison, rat traps everywhere that don't seem to work. In Washington Heights, the people get desperate and dangerous. They hit the street where they buy their illegal magic rat killer. This is a stuff right here. It's a real good rat poison. In fact, the nickname in Spanish is tres pasitos. That means 3 little steps. The rat eats this, takes 3 little steps, and he's dead. The poison is smuggled in from the Dominican Republic where it is legal to use. People mix it with food like rice.
We know of several cases in which children have been poisoned.
It's a tempting dish for rats and for curious babies, too. Listen to what the Environmental Protection Agency has to say.
Especially kids. When we're talking about babies and toddlers, their immune systems are just developing, their nervous systems are just developing, they're smaller, so it takes less of the chemical to actually have a harmful effect in them.
Do you sell Tres Pasitos?
Using a hidden camera, look how easy it is for the Fox 5 problem solvers to buy Tres Pasitos.
It's poison. Do you like it for kill its mouth?
We gave her $5 for a packet of poison, but when we returned to ask her about it...
You sold this?
No.
You didn't sell this?
No.
You know this is dangerous?
No.
Now don't forget, this stuff is illegal to sell, but we were also able to buy it inside this hardware store. That's it, right there on the counter, and that's the man that sold it to us. But he had a hard time remembering the deal.
You don't sell that?
No, I don't sell that.
Then we showed him a video of him selling the stuff.
That's you, right?
Yes, me.
So you sold him the poison, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Doris Velez bought Tres Pasitos and said it killed the rats right away. But it almost killed her daughter's dog, too.
He ate a little bit, and the dog almost died. They took him to the hospital to emergency.
Avoid it at all costs.
Hey, some good news here. This young couple avoids Tres Pasitos. They just had a baby, so they're using these safe glue traps to catch rats.
I got a newborn baby, and I really don't want to try, endanger my son right now.
And remember the man who sold us the poison in the hardware store?
So you promised me you're going to stop selling it?
Yeah, I should.
Okay, man. That's the deal.
But, well, this woman keeps selling this stuff on the corner in Washington Heights. We notice she has something in common with rats.
We have you on camera selling this stuff.
Oh.
When she sees a Fox 5 camera, she runs away. So do the rats. We told the Environmental Protection Agency where we bought this stuff. They promised to crack down on the people selling it. By the way, the nasty ingredient in this poison is called aldicarb. It's used on some farms to kill bugs, but it's so dangerous you need a license to use it. Just 3 flakes of this could kill a baby. John Dutzman, Fox 5 News. Back to you.
All right, and if you have a question about Tres Pasitos, you can call the Pesticide Information Hotline. They're at 1-800-858-PEST, and they're open from 9 in the morning till 7:30 at night. And coming up later on, the problem solvers went to work for a young lady who spent thousands on breast surgery that didn't happen. She was out of luck and out of money until she called us. Rosanna.
John, health researchers say those low-tar cigarettes have a dirty little secret. They're just as bad for you as regular cigarettes. Linda Schmidt has the story. She's in the newsroom right now. Linda.
Well, Rosanna, the word tonight for smokers, you better listen up because there is some important information tonight that is going to surprise you. Why do you smoke lights?
Healthier, I hope.
David is like a lot of smokers, choosing light or low-tar cigarettes over regular cigarettes because they think they're safer. That's why Eva smokes them.
It's a little bit healthier. I think they're probably better for me than smoking a higher tar cigarette.
Well, before you light one up, check this out. The National Cancer Institute, brand new study out says there isn't any difference at all between the lights and regular cigarettes. No difference.
No difference at all.
That's right. The study says low tar and light cigarettes do not reduce your chances of getting cancer or any other smoking-related diseases. That's because you take larger puffs and you smoke more cigarettes, getting the same amount of nicotine. Philip Morris, the country's largest cigarette manufacturer, says this isn't anything new and that they've never misled consumers with their advertising.
Philip Morris does not imply in our marketing of our cigarettes that descriptors such as ultralight or light indicate that that would be a safer cigarette.
Try telling that to some smokers who say, of course, that's what your marketing intends to imply.
When they do advertise for light cigarettes, they kind of make it seem like they are more healthy.
I wouldn't say that they're the most trustworthy company to begin with anyway.
The study also found there's been a 60% drop in the amount of tar used in cigarettes since the 1950s. But get this, the cancer rates haven't dropped. I'm Linda Schmidt.
And coming up, a hot holiday item that stores can't keep on their shelves.
A new subway line's coming. How it could make your commute a lot more comfortable.
And did a change of heart help stop a possible school massacre? We'll be right back.
A fourth student's been charged in Massachusetts with that plot to kill kids at a school. It was supposed to be a killing like the one in Columbine. Amy Lee Bauman is the latest suspect. She's 17 years old. Police say she was in on the plan to kill her classmates at New Bedford High School, but she spilled the beans to save her favorite teacher. That's when the authorities got involved. She's charged with conspiracy to commit murder. 3 boys were charged yesterday. They're still behind bars. Ms. Bauman is free. Prosecutors are even considering making her their star witness.
Well, a string of burglaries has neighbors in a town in Jersey on edge in a wealthy community in Bergen County, Hillsdale. There have been a number of burglaries there. In the past 2 months, the robbers have ripped off 7 homes. Some of them had their doors literally kicked in. Now, they haven't stopped at just houses. They hit a couple of businesses, as well as the Borough Hall. Police are stumped.
You know, we only get a couple of burglaries a year. To have this many in less than a month is a lot for this area.
Now, some of the people there think the burglars drive in from out of town and they use the nearby highway to make a quick getaway.
If you take the subway from Queens, there's good news for you. A new line between Queens and Lower Manhattan. It's called the V line, and it will ease overcrowding on the E and F lines. The new line will provide local service between Forest Hills and the 2nd Avenue station on the Lower East Side. It starts running December 16th. Governor Pataki says what goes for Manhattan goes for Staten Island. No right turns on red, unless there's a specific sign. He vetoed a bill from lawmakers on Staten Island, allowing that borough to join the rest of the country with automatic turns.
Ford is recalling almost 300,000 of their Focus compact cars. 2000 and 2001 models. Road salt, the stuff they use to melt snow and the ice, can corrode the car's wheel bearings. That can cause them to wear out prematurely. Now, car owners will get notices in the mail about the recall next month. And starting Saturday, some parents in Jersey may be breaking the law, not even realizing it. A new law requires booster seats for youngsters in the back seat under 8 and weighing less than 80 pounds. And if your child goes to school in a carpool, they have to bring along the booster seats to class. A lawmaker calls this one a big mistake, and he's trying to get it changed.
So what's up with our weather? How come it's so warm? And does that mean a nasty winter is right around the corner? That story's coming up.
And the streets of Midtown a lot more crowded, but not just with holiday shoppers.
Then the problem solvers go to bat for a woman who ran into big trouble when she tried to get breast implants. Stay with us.
Broadcasting with more power than ever from the top of the Empire State Building. You're watching Fox 5 News.
How would you feel if you paid thousands of dollars up front for plastic surgery, but you never get the surgery or your money back? That's exactly what happened to a woman from Yonkers. She called the problem solvers for help. Here's John Dudsmith.
This woman wanted to get her breasts enlarged, but all she wound up with is a huge reduction in her bank account, one that she couldn't afford. This sexy ad in Cosmopolitan caught her eye, so 20-year-old Stephanie Berardinelli wanted to get that look. She paid a plastic surgery marketing company, the people with the ad, $4,000 up front for breast enlargement surgery.
It's a lot of money for a 20-year-old.
It's a lot of money. It's almost a half year to save it.
So imagine how she felt when she called one day before her surgery and found out it was canceled, and nobody bothered to tell her.
I was upset. I was more upset because, that they didn't call me and I thought it was unprofessional, so I just wanted my money back.
Oh, it gets worse. She never got the surgery or her money back. Fed up, she called the problem solvers.
I'm just frustrated. I mean, if it wasn't so much money, I would have given up by now.
The problem solvers found out the company Stephanie paid, named ThatLook.com, gets patients for legitimate plastic surgeons and handles all the money. But they somehow ran out of money. They even stiffed the doctor that was supposed to do Stephanie's surgery.
Is there anything that you could do to try to get her money back?
I hired a lawyer myself so I can get my money back.
The doctor is also angry because she trusted ThatLook.com. The company even collected money from the patients inside her office.
Of course, I feel responsible because all the transactions were done in my office. So when I don't know yet what I'm going to do.
Well, good news here. The problem solvers tracked down a former employee of ThatLook.com, and even though he no longer has anything to do with this troubled company, he felt bad and decided to cut Stephanie a check for $4,000.
thank you problem solvers for getting me my money back, because I didn't think that I would see it again, and it does a lot for me, getting it back.
By the way, the doctor in this story, she says his company, ThatLook.com, still owes her for 5 to 6 surgeries. That's a lot of money. John Dutzman, Fox 5 News.
And if you have a problem, give us a call. It's toll-free 1-877-TEL-FOX-5.
Well, there's been a jump in street peddlers on the streets of Manhattan, swarms of them throughout Midtown. Some think it's because the police have been busy with more important things since the terrorist attacks. The NYPD says they are arresting more peddlers than last year, and they can handle the increase this holiday season. Rosanna?
John, this year, Christmas may look a little more like the 4th of July, but with snow, a lot of people want to show the flag even on their tree. Andrea Day reports.
They're just about everywhere. Bumper stickers. This car has 3 flags, and now red, white, and blue have taken over Christmas.
The whole focus of the holidays is very changed now.
Forget red and green. This year, it's all about red, white, and blue.
We just want to make sure that we're continuing and taking care of our country.
And she's not alone. It's Christmas American style. At Christopher Radko, this firefighter ornament draped in the flag is the only one left in the store, and that's only because it's broken. And don't even think about buying the Braveheart. There's already a waiting list. About how many on this list right now?
Over 1,000.
Do you think you'll get enough in by Christmas?
It's hard to say. Unfortunately, they're rushing the delivery and stuff.
For some, it's all-out patriotism. But for others, the colors run much deeper. Mary Hickey Trulson lost her brother, a New York City firefighter, on 9/11. These colors are for him.
It's a tribute to my brother and all the firemen and the policemen, the EMT, and the healthcare workers who ran in when everybody else was running out.
The true spirit of Christmas. Andrea Day, Fox 5 News.
Well, this warm weather has us all happy, but confused. What the heck is going on?
Nick Gregory's been looking into it. Nick.
Well, you know exactly. We have just been spoiled, I think, by all this weather that's been going on lately, but it's just one of those seasons where one of the patterns that sets up puts us on the receiving end of mild weather, while other parts of the country are getting the wintry weather and the cold stuff. Now, just in case you have forgotten, we're going to be showing you the temperatures for the day. Here's a shot of the National Weather Service, and that is Gary Conti. He's one of the forecasters there, and we decided that we'd ask Gary's opinion on exactly how mild this weather has been.
Well, I think it's part of the normal variation in weather, in climate. Climate goes over long periods of time, and I think this is just one of those variations. We've just had 2 months plus warm, dry weather across the tri-state region. We may now be heading into a pattern over the next 2 to 3 months where it's going to get colder, wetter, and more stormy.
And in case you have forgotten, our average temperature for this time of the year should be around 49 for the high and 37 for the low. And look at what happened across the area today. Way up in the 50s in a lot of spots like Newark and Morristown, while it was in the middle 50s even along the Connecticut shore today. Now, again, our trend has been to see this mild weather stuck all along the eastern seaboard. It was even 70s up to West Virginia today with the cold teens and 20s across the northern plain states. And the controlling factor has been the jet stream. Now, last year at this time, the jet stream was reversed. We had the cold air. In fact, the coldest November and December ever on record was recorded across the United States. This year, the jet stream, especially this week, has taken a dip to the south, allowing the cold and stormy weather to move through the middle part of the country while we get into that milder trend over here. And just to remind you, this cold and snowy pattern is already set up in parts of the country. Look at this video from Minneapolis, where the snow piled up in some places in the range of 1.5 to 2 feet. In fact, at one point with the blowing snow, they actually had to take the snowplows off the road in Minneapolis, where they should be used to this kind of stuff. Well, again, our weather pattern may not be necessarily so cold and snowy, but it is getting a little more active, and I'll tell you how that'll play into our forecast when I bring you the full details in the next 5 days, a little bit later in our 10 o'clock news.
And still ahead with all the interest rate cuts we've had, there's one place you may not want to have your money.
And if you've been feeling down since September 11th, you are definitely not alone. We'll tell you what one expert says to do. I'll have that coming up.
We have some breaking news from Sky Fox. It's over the Cross Bronx Expressway near the Rosedale Avenue exit. 2 transit police vehicles were in an accident. There are at least 2 people hurt. We'll be right back.
A lot of people still stressed out more than 2.5 months since the attack on America. One expert says maybe it's time to throw a holiday party, and he means it. Patricia Wu is in Midtown right now. Patricia.
It definitely means that, John, but we do have to clarify that the advice is for people who are still feeling lingering effects, but definitely not for anyone who lost a loved one in a tragedy.
Everything that you thought could never happen, you think anything could happen now.
Just general sadness.
Seeing these terrible tragedies and feeling the pain of other people naturally brings up my own pain.
Nearly half of all New Yorkers are still struggling to cope with these kinds of feelings 2 months after the events of September 11th. Experts say the magnitude of the tragedy, followed by the threats of anthrax and the crash of Flight 587, compounds the problem.
I think we would feel more along a road of returning to our ordinary community life. However, our efforts to turn that corner always seem to be turned back.
The upcoming holiday season could be an even greater challenge for some. Many may feel like skipping the holidays altogether and isolating themselves this year. But Dr. Paul Offman suggests doing the opposite.
But it would be very important for people to recognize that being alone, being isolated is less in their interest in terms of their coping effectively than being with others. Being with others allows an opportunity for support to be given and to be received.
Now, these results came as a result of a Red Cross survey, the first in a series. Now, back to you, John and Rosanna.
Thanks, Patricia. Some lawmakers from the city are in Washington asking for more federal help with the Trade Center disaster. The group included members of Congress and State Assembly Speaker Silver. Their goal is to get more money to offset the cost of the attacks.
At the very least, the federal government should live up to its commitment of $20 billion, and the $20 billion should be a floor, not a ceiling. Controller Hevesy estimates we need more than $100 billion to come near to making ourselves whole.
And the group is also urging the government to come through with the funds before the end of this year.
Well, a holiday tradition in Lower Manhattan, Mayor Giuliani was on hand along with the fire and police commissioners for the annual lighting of the Christmas tree at the New York Stock Exchange. They've been doing this for 78 years. Choirs from across the tri-state area sang Christmas carols. This year's ceremony honored the incredible number of fallen heroes of New York's fire, police, and emergency workers. Wall Street got hit by some profit-taking and a report that found consumer confidence is sinking. The Dow fell over 110 points. Losing stocks beat the winners on the big board by a margin of better than 8 to 7. The price per share was down 21 cents. The Nasdaq lost over 5 points.
Now that we're officially in a recession, many people are trying to figure out how to make money. Some are putting it in a money market fund, but that may not be the way to go.
If you have your money in a money market fund, leave it alone. That's your safety net. However, if that's the bulk of your investments, you're going to have to look at investing some of that money in something that pays a higher return.
10 rate cuts by the feds have shrunk the average money fund's yield to about 2%, and that's after fees, the lowest ever. And some funds with high yields and low yields, high fees and low yields are already close to a zero payout. Nothing to laugh about.
All right, still ahead at the end of the line for a popular musical on Broadway.
And we've been talking about snow in the northern plains states. Where's it snowing tonight? Texas and Oklahoma. None of that cold air coming here just yet. Will it show up in the 5-day? You'll find out next. First, the Dodge Tri-State forecast for tomorrow.
Some Broadway shows are closing their doors. By Jeeves will close December 30th after 72 performances. It will be the shortest run ever of an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. The show got mixed reviews and did only so-so business. Kiss Me Kate and the Rocky Horror Show are also closing.
Well, Mayor Giuliani showed off his sense of humor on the David Letterman Show.
The Yankees winning all those World Series, that was my idea.
There you go.
The daily call from Letterman begging me to reopen strip clubs.
He counted down the top 10 things you'll miss as mayor of the Big Apple and had him rolling in the aisle and standing in the aisle. Standing ovation.
He won't miss Nick's forecast. He can still get that every night.
Sure.
There you go.
What was the other good line? He had something about giving the key to the city to people and then watching them know that it doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything. Doesn't open anything.
I thought that was a good line, too. Well, we've been opening the key to some great weather. I mean, we've just been really spoiled with all this mild weather going on. We've got more coming, but we also have some more chances for rain, which we also need very badly. There's a shot of the Triborough Bridge tonight, and a pretty nice night, although the clouds have moved in. And they're going to stay now for the overnight period. And our temperature today, though, did get up to 57 for the high, 46 the low. The record split 72-12. Again, neither one of those in jeopardy. And right now in New York with a cloudy sky, we're at 56 degrees. Wind has been gusty in the last hour. Humidity's been coming up a little bit. The temperature at dew point split not that far apart now, and that means that we'll probably get some fog. And actually, in the last hour, we started to see a little drizzle appear. Drizzle reported out in Queens right now. We got some drizzle at Bridgeport, a little light rain at White Plains, and also at Teterboro. But everybody otherwise is just cloudy and holding in the lower 50s. On the radar, you can't really see the drizzle appear, but there are some more spotty shots. Well, there's a little bit there over in Nassau County now, but you can see some more spotty showers and drizzle going back to our west. So we're likely to see this happen during the overnight period. It's not going to be a lot of rain. It may sprinkle a little bit for your commute in the morning, but the action is still way out west. The snow winding down in the northern plain states. And now, look at this. Snow from Texas on up to Oklahoma City. They may get a foot of snow just east of Oklahoma City, with icing just to the east of that, and severe thunderstorms to the east of that. So that's the next system we have to watch. Some of that action will come our way a little bit later on in the week, but it's a slow process. The Minneapolis snowstorm is what's coming our way tomorrow as it spreads the clouds towards us, but it's weakening. Most of the activity will be sliding off to our north and to the south, just some showers. There goes the storm by tomorrow, east of Boston. So we'll just start out with a shower, then the clouds hang tough, and maybe get into a little light rain again by tomorrow night. So most of tomorrow actually is just cloudy and near 60 degrees. Then it cools back a little bit as the front drops to our south. A shot at some rain on Thursday for the first half of the day. But then the bigger storm comes our way with showers and thunderstorms for Friday. Here's the forecast for New York City and the tri-state area. A little light rain and drizzle, as we mentioned, and some fog, too. 40s in the suburbs to 51 in town. Tomorrow, just a shower early, then just cloudy for the most part. A little brightening in the afternoon, and 61 the high temperature. Here's the 5-day. Little light rain and drizzle coming in tomorrow night, and probably through at least the first half of Thursday. Then it stops again, 53. Little sun Friday may get us to 63 or even 65, but showers and thunderstorms around 2. Looks like a dry weekend in the 50s. And that's still above normal for where we should be. Make it a little colder, though, as we head into next week.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Kurt Menefee joined us now with sports. Going to need a little help in sports
show
tonight.
and tell, maybe, the beginning. Rosanna, I want you to do me a favor. Hold up both hands. See, there you got 10 fingers. That's more than the Nets allowed tonight in a single quarter. 10. 4 more, in fact, than they gave up to the Chicago Bulls. The Nets with a team record low 6 points allowed to the Bulls in the third. Hey, call it a pre-Christmas sale, if you will. Meanwhile, the Nets, well, they were the ones doing all the collecting of the presents. Kenyon Martin from Jason Kidd. Hey, let's get this party started right. Nets up 10 at the break. It became a blowout in the third. Keith Van Horn to Todd McCullough. McCullough had 18 points, 13 rebounds. Van Horn, black eye and all, with 19 and 10 boards. The Bulls, well, they were the ones to leave the Meadowlands all punch drunk. Alley-oop to Kerry Kittles, 2 of his 14. Nets blow out the Bulls by 32, 168 the final. Nets off to their best 15-game start ever at 10-5, when number 10 last season didn't come until January. Well, deciding that he's already made more money than he'll ever need and missing time that he can never recoup, Scott Brocious retired as a Yankee today, choosing to spend more time with his family rather than continuing his baseball career.
This is strictly, it's personal. It had, just it's all about just who I want to be as a husband and as a father and just as a person.
And so after 4 years of being one of the nicer, more gentlemanly persons in the Yankee pinstripes, the 35-year-old Brocious is calling it a career. And why not? He leaves having won 4 straight American League pennants, 3 World Series titles, being named MVP of his first ever series back in '98, and hitting one of the more dramatic homers in World Series history this year, when he tied Game 5 with that 2-out blast in the bottom of the ninth.
You couldn't pencil out a better 4 years than what it was for myself and for Jennifer and the kids out there. We all loved it to death. So this decision was not baseball related. We just came to a point in my life where I just felt like I've just played enough baseball, that the price to continue playing is too high.
Sweeney grounds to third. Brocious fittingly with a throw. The Yankees have done it again.
And to kind of put in perspective, I've mentioned this before, my oldest daughter's almost 10 years old. I've missed over 3 years of her life being on road trips. And as a father, I just was not willing to do that any longer.
Now, Brocious would have been a free agent, says that in addition to spending time with the family, he'll devote more time to his church and volunteer at the high school and small local college in his hometown of McMinnville, Oregon. We wish him luck. Well, just the opposite, getting a new contract. Joe McEwing gets a new 1-year deal with the Mets, and Bud Selig a 3-year extension on his old one, meaning he'll be baseball commissioner until at least 2006. Hockey and all the locals in action. Rangers starting off in Buffalo. Here they come. Down 2, Eric Lindros one-handed cuts the deficit to 2-1 in the second. Later in the third, it's still a 2-1 game. Mark Messier, this time to Mike York out in front. 8.5 seconds left. Rangers tie the game, and they send it to overtime, where Mike Richter was the star, as he was all game. These just a couple of his 47 saves on the night. This one ends in a 2-2 tie. Islanders and Capitals, Isles down a goal. Mariusz Czerkowski, hey, try to keep your eye on the puck. The shot goes up the back of Washington goalie Craig Billington, stays there for a bit, and eventually falls in. Czerkowski tipping it with a hat trick on the night. The game ends in a 5-5 tie. Isles now unbeaten in their last 5. The Devils really the only ones getting roughed up this evening in Pittsburgh. Goalie Martin Brodeur, what's he doing? Halfway back to the turnpike, he pays the price. Kobe Peterson making it 3-0 Penguins. Short night for Brodeur, who got pulled after giving up 4 goals in less than 2 periods. Penguins blow out New Jersey 6-0. Devils just 1 win in their last 9 games. Well, Jumbo Elliott's a Jet again, only this time he's been hired as an assistant offensive line coach. He says he has no plans to return as a player, although he wouldn't completely rule it out in the future. And finally, about the only guys missing tonight were Fred and Barney, Cramden, and Norton. It's the annual Robin Ventura charity bowling event. This year it was held at Chelsea Piers with the proceeds, somewhere in the neighborhood of $75,000 when they're done counting, all going to the children of the victims of the September 11th attacks. Several of his Mets teammates came on hand to try and lend some support to the cause, and certainly a good time was indeed had by all. And I do want to say, lots of charity events going on for the September 11th victims, as well they should, but keep in mind in this time of giving that there are people who were not part of September 11th as well. So keep them in your mind and your thoughts and prayers.
Okay.
All right, Kurt, you stay with us.
An update on negotiations to avoid a teacher strike at Catholic high schools when we come back.
All right, finally, we're going to update our top story for you. The last-ditch effort to avoid a strike by teachers at some Catholic schools. Bob DeCastro is on the phone right now. Bob.
John, we can tell you that both sides are still at the bargaining table literally at this 11th hour. The president of the teachers union now telling us that things do not look promising. The teachers keeping when they'll walk out close to the vest so the archdiocese can't line up substitutes. If you are a parent or a student, the best we can tell you is we'll keep an eye on the situation, and we'll have the latest, of course, on Good Day New York. In Hawthorne, I'm Bob DeCastro. John Rosanna?
That's our report for tonight. I'm John Roland.
I'm Rosanna Scotto. Thanks for watching. And as Bob said, don't forget to tune into Good Day New York beginning with the news at 5:30.
See you back here again tomorrow night at 10. Good night.